Picked the wrong week to quit sniffing glue.
Don't stare at me, you got the bug eyes.
Well, greetings everybody. It's another week. How you doing? It's Monday. It's Monday afternoon. I haven't started on anything yet. I have learned one thing in my life, and that is if you're not feeling like working on a model, don't pick up a model. You'll get crappy results and you'll just end up having to fix things later on that that you screwed up when you really weren't in the mood for modeling. I instead took care of some long needed yard work this morning. We've had a rare combination of really hot weather and then really wet weather. So it hasn't had the normal opportunities for me to go out and do routine yard work. So as a result, it all got ahead of me. So last weekend I was at the Nats, the IPMS Nationals up in Virginia, Hampton, Virginia, Hampton something. Anyway, I was up there for a couple of days helping Steve out with his booth. That was no help at all. Steve was doing just fine without me. I was just there smiling and waving and shaking hands. Got to meet some great people. Got to see some great models. Got to do some wonderful purchasing. Got to do some shopping. I'll show you what I came back with in a minute. First thing I came back with is an IPMS shirt that I am currently going to be using as a night shirt because it is so freaking big. I got there on Friday afternoon and they had already sold out all the XLs. So I had to go up to a 2XL, which is like a tent on me. So it's good. I need another night shirt, so that's fine. Also picked up this wonderful shirt from Andy's Hobbies. Good. Like I said, lots of good shopping. Got to see Ian from Agora. Got to see the Agora folks and drool over the imagery on the Orca, which is coming out beginning of next year. That's the next big thing I'm signed up for. Hopefully by then both the Robocop and the ET will be done, and I can put those to the side and concentrate on just the Dalek and the Orca. But I want to show you what I picked up. I picked up a couple of new kits, and then I rescued some less loved and perhaps more infamous kits. So let's see the booty pile. So here is our empty table. We'll start with the Mothman. Wanted to pick up a Mothman. I saw my buddy Dave working on this a couple weeks ago at our local build day at the hobby shop, and I thought that's a neat kit. It's one of those ones that actually looks neater in person than it did on the box cover, so I look forward to doing some fun stuff with that. Might flock it, who knows. And then the second one I got was the hit of the show. Everybody seemed to want one. It was the C-Lab 3. Now I saw a guy walk up to Steve and say, "I want 4 of these." So I know the history of the kit. I know, trust me, I've heard Steve talk about this kit for 3 years now, and I'm glad it's finally out. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do with mine yet or not. Probably won't build it as stock. I'll probably do something to it. I just don't know what. But I know a lot of people want it for the parts and not necessarily for the whole kit. So like I said, everybody they should have just issued these at the door, because practically everybody that came by the booth ended up picking up one of these things. So good on that. And then the other 2, or the other 3, are kits from my past. This is a kit from my past that I had my eye on and was able to get it at the last minute before I left on Saturday. The Goodyear blimp. I had one of these on the original issue. This is 75 to 77, so that would tell you how old this is. I don't know if this is original or re-shrunk wrapped. It looks like it might be an original kit. We'll have to see make sure all the parts are in there, but I'm more interested in it for the mechanism than I am necessarily for the kit, but again, we'll see. And then the last 2 are, you know them, you love them. They didn't get a lot of love. They're kind of infamous, but we have the Kazon torpedo. Kazon torpedo for 15 bucks. I couldn't pass it up. It is probably, next to the Scorpion, the most reviled and least loved of all of the Star Trek kits that Monogram ever put out, or AMT, or Round 2, or any of them. This was part of the initial run when Voyager was a new series. They brought out the Voyager, they brought out the Kazon ship, the Kazon torpedo, and the Maquis ship, and I believe those were the only kits that ever came out of that line. Yeah, here you go. There's the rest of the line there. The ship, the Maquis, and the Voyager. Don't know why. I've asked Rick about this, who made the decision. Nobody is going to fess up to it. So we have a very special episode coming up where we are going to try to give some love to the Kazon torpedo. And the last one is a kit that I built once it came out, when the movie came out. And I don't know what happened to it. But we're going to take another stab at the Lost in Space robot from the movie Lost in Space. We're going to see if we can make something a little bit more attractive out of it this time than the last time I built this. And I'm even trying, I'm scratching my head to see. I don't think it was possible to build the other version of this kit. I think you could only build the full robot. I don't think there was an option to build the half robot, or the robot as it went through the rest of the movie. I might put some lights in this. Who knows? That could be fun. But we're going to give some life to a couple of old kits later on this year. I don't know when I'll be getting to them. So, like I said, I haven't quite decided what this week's build is going to be. I'm kind of wanting to do a figure. I don't know which figure I want to do. I could throw everything to the wind and do the Mothman this week. I'll sleep on it and we'll find out tomorrow. It's Monday afternoon. I don't feel like, opening up a box and picking out stuff. So we're not gonna. We'll pick this up again tomorrow, and hopefully I will be of clearer mind. Welcome back, everybody. It's Tuesday, and yes, I've decided what I'm gonna do. It's gonna be the Mothman, and I found an interesting way in, a thing that I can do. As luck would have it, in my feed this morning were some very nice pictures of a beautiful build that went a completely different way than what I'm doing, so I felt okay about it. I hate to, not that I'm striving to, be contrary by nature, but I always hate when I pick up a model and somebody's already working on it, and it's like, I don't know, you don't need to see another one of those being done. But I think I found a fun way to add some oomph to this kit. Now, I've just started putting together some of the basic stuff. That is the left and right arms, the left and right legs, stuff like that. I want to show you something. When my buddy Dave was building this last week, or last weekend, I noticed that he pointed out to me, there are no pins on the inside of the stump. There are pockets for them. There are pockets for them there, but on the pin side of it, it's like, yeah, you're not going to stretch that pin all the way to that pocket. There are some really poor seams on this kit. Seams that are where two sides of the leg or two sides of an arm should be coming together, and they are not. For a modern kit, it's not well engineered. I have seen 50-year-old kits that come together better than this in some instances, but I think we're going to have some fun with finishes on this, because it is a cryptid, because it is mythical, because it is, point me to an actual Mothman and I will eat my words. But there's going to be some latitude on not only the coloration, but the finish on this. I've seen the build I saw this morning was beautifully done, and it had very literal moth markings on it. And that's not necessarily the way I am going. I am going, you know, the less literal interpretation. It's like, you know, he was seen in the forest and someone said, oh, he had big wings, looked like a moth. It's like Batman, doesn't look like a bat. It's going to be more along those lines. Now, the thing that I'm going to do, I cannot say until I get back from the store to see whether it's available. Because if it's not, if I can't get what I need to do, then I don't want to talk it up. But I'm cleaning up the parts today. I'm putting wiring in it because, yes, I'm going to light the eyes up. That's the minimum you would do. And I just put a bunch of wire coming out of both sides of that leg because I'm trying to figure the best way of getting the power up from the stump. I'm going to use this battery pack that I was going to use on, on the Psycho House. I was going to use this battery house on the Psycho House, or this battery pack on the Psycho House, but I'm going to swap that bulb out for a red bulb because one of the distinguishing features of the Mothman is glowing red eyes. So I'm going to also take the suggestion from a week or so ago. I can, again, not remembering who it was that made the suggestion, but the idea stuck in my mind, and that is to take some epoxy sculpt and make a press mold. And I'm going to use a press mold to mold a new set of eyes, but I'm going to do the press mold into the epoxy sculpt, and then I'm going to do the clear doming resin as the clear part. I'm going to see if I can make some clear eyes out of that so that I can make the eyes glow red. And then we are going to see how well we can get the rest of this done. So it is 10 o'clock now. I need to go to that shop and see if I can find the part that I am looking to find, and then that will tell me how I'm going to be proceeding with the rest of this kit. Now, you might have guessed it while I was gone, but yeah, the truth is I am going to be flocking. I'm going to be flocking. There seems to be flocking in the air. It's late summer when men's fancy turns to thoughts of flocking. Wayne was flocking the carpeting of his Eagle 5. Phil was flocking the Pink Panther on his Peter Sellers bust. And since we all share the same brain, I am going to be flocking the Mothman. I'm going to be flocking him black. Now, I'm going to be painting highlights on it, of course, but I'm going to be using black flock for the majority of his body. And that was the thing. I wanted to make sure that we had, the local company had it in stock, had the flock in stock before I started spouting off about it. Went over to the Clean Spore woodworking store over in Cary. That's a place, a man can get lost in a place like that. And so you have to make sure you got your tunnel vision on. You go right for the one thing that you want and you come right back out, or else you'll lose a day in there. It's just nirvana for all things tool and woodworking. But what I was thinking on the way over and on the way back was that I could use this opportunity to, since this is a mythical creature, there's nobody to tell me, right or wrong on it. If the actual Mothman wants to show up and say I done him wrong, then I will apologize. But I'm looking at the way this all goes together, and it's all of the wings are pinned together with this one big pin, one big part here. Come on, fit in the back. I don't want to glue anything yet. I'm not ready for that. But I want to see how much. Okay, so it's not a lot. I was wondering how much of the inside of the wing was covered by the smaller wings, because I'm thinking that I might want to do the insides in burgundy. I might want to do the insides of the wing in burgundy, which will give me a good chance to silhouette the body. If I did it all in black, you might lose the body inside the, you know, you would lose the silhouette. It would just turn into a massive black. But if I do the insides in burgundy, I can always hit it with a darker paint after I'm done to darken it down if I don't quite like it. But that's what I want to do. I'm going to do I'm going to do the hairy parts in flock, and that will leave me to paint like the hands and the feet and the face, the areas that aren't hairy. I think you can see obvious spots here that don't get hair on them that I can still go ahead and paint. But it's going to speed up a lot of this because it's going to be flocked, and we're going to start with flocking the wings. There is an opportunity back here, I noticed, that if I wanted to do these eye patterns, I could do those in red, and that might be nice. I could even put in a color. There's some obvious stripage going in here. If I wanted to do those in a color, do the red right away and then flock the black over top of it. I think that's what I'm going to do. So let me clean up some parts and get some parts ready, and I think we will start with the burgundy flocking first. I took a Sharpie and I outlined very basically where I want the red to go, and I'm using a disposable brush, and I will just paint in the burgundy area, and then we'll flock this little bit, and then we'll flip everything over. I can actually, what I need to do is take this and find my overlapping piece, which is this guy right here, and that will tell me where I have my handholds. See, I can grip it anywhere in here while I'm holding it up to do the underside. And then I can, actually what I need to do is do this, and then take the back piece and hold that like this, and that will give me my area here that doesn't need to be flocked because it's busy being, yeah, let me get the other wing here. It's busy being the, see, that's going to fit like that. That's going to fit like that. And I could paint these areas, but really that's going to end up being covered up anyway, so there's no percentage in there. Heaven's sake, make difficult. No percentage in flocking back in behind there. So now that we got those areas mapped out, it'll give me some place to hang on to this while I'm working with it. That's what I was trying to say. Good morning, everybody. It's Wednesday. It's hump day. It's also another crappy, rainy, ugly day out. Looks like there might be a break in the clouds right now from what I can see from the window. But it is, you get woke up to the gentle sound of thunder, and it's just sets the mood for the whole day. Today, the eyes have it. I am working on my replacement eyes. What I did was I took the stock parts, which are not see-through, they're not clear, and I pressed them into a little bit of epoxy sculpt. Made up a little ball of epoxy sculpt. I put some Vaseline over the front of these so that they wouldn't stick to the epoxy sculpt, and then I stuck them in. I stuck them into the epoxy sculpt, left them there while the epoxy sculpt set up, probably for a couple of hours at least, and then I carefully pulled them out. And because they had a little bit of Vaseline on it, they did not stick. So those came out, and then I looked around and I thought, what's the best thing to fill this with? I could use UV curing resin, or I could build it up out of microcrystal clear. What I decided in the end was to take some 5-minute epoxy, whip that up, and carefully fill the cavities, making sure that there was no air bubbles left, and then let it sit overnight. And this morning I took that epoxy sculpt and I chipped it away from the back. It came away pretty easily. And then I buffed up the outside, and basically what I ended up with is a couple of these. And what I like about this is that it captured the eyeball effect, or the faceted eye effect, from the molding, which is great. And now I am just fitting these into the opening. They are a little bit larger. I've been sculpting this down, and you can see how that one's fitting in quite nicely. So let me, my battery's running out on the camera. Let me go charge. I've got the camera plugged in now, so I shouldn't have that problem anymore. But this one I've got it working. I've had to open up the eye socket a little bit more to fit it in there. But it's giving me nice fillage. And when I put the battery to it, you do get the red glowing eye, which is the important thing. Now, I'm fitting the other one, and it's taking a little bit more finagling to get it to fit. I don't know why, but luckily this epoxy does sand up quite easily. And if you can hear it, you can hear the thunder. That was a nice little rumble went through there. Also, like I said, I'm opening up the socket where is need be. Now, the one thing I don't want to have happen is I don't want this to fall down inside here, because it is sealed up and it's never coming out. And that would be a bad and a boo, as opposed to a yay and a happy. So that's going to sit something like that on the outside once I finish cleaning it up a bit. So that's where I'm at now. The majority of the arms and the wings are across the room there. They are in a pan. I flocked them. They are drying now. Once the flocking has set up for a few hours, I will take the blower to it and blow off the excess, and we should be able to see how that's looking. I've got the last bits of putty on these joints. These joints for a brand new kit are really not great. They are wide, they are expensive, they don't match, the pins are horrible. It's not it's a nice looking kit, it's a great sculpt, but technically, on a technical level, it's not a great fitting model. So be prepared to use some putty and some elbow grease to get the parts to line up. I do believe it's time. I've got some microcrystal clear here, and I'm going to start with his right eyeball, and we're going to start by liberally coating the area of the eye socket. We'll go ahead and do both of them while we're here. And as I said, I'm using microcrystal clear because we're gluing a clear part even though it's epoxy, and you could get away with using CA because this is not styrene. It's not going to fog up anything, but I do want the posability that you get with you don't get with CA, because it locks into too quickly. Oh, that's nice. That went in nice. I don't deserve how nice, quickly and easily that went in. I must have been good in a former life. I am going to put a little bit more just around the, well, there's not enough in there to, it's too deep. Okay, let me pull some out. Hopefully this is all in camera. Yeah, it seems to be. I'm going to put a little bit more around the bottom of his eye just to fill in. Oops. Went and moved it out of position. Let's get it back to where it wants to be. There you go. That's where I want it. Wash a little bit of that off. There we go. Just getting it down in the edge there, and then wipe it off. Not worried about any of this face because I have yet to paint the face. Just throwing some extra glue around the eye socket there. Okay. Right now, I guess I can start working on the base because we are pretty much in a watching paint dry mode as far as everything else. The flocking is drying. I just blew off some of the excess, which means the air can get to the glue on the actual parts a little bit easier. Ooh, that's springy. And get out of the way. There you go. Get this right under the camera here. Okay. Just wipe some of that off. And we're good. I'm going to do a quick test on the lighting. So we can see what the red's going to look like. Oh, that's very nice. Yeah, I'm very happy with that. Lovely. Okay, we're going to let all the paint dry, and then we will come back to it in a wee bit. Once I get the feathers and the mandibles on this, it's going to look a lot more fearsome. Right now it doesn't look like a lot. And then we can concentrate on flocking the rest of him. So yeah, I've got the stump out on the deck under some protection. I got a primer coat on it, and I think I need to go check on that, maybe attach it to the rest of this and start working on the base part. Oh, you may notice I've already sanded off where it said the Mothman, because you know how much I hate models that have built-in name tags. And here's where we're going to leave it for today. I have flocked the ever-living snot out of this guy. I flocked him. Now, don't worry, when I blow that off, this face is a lot cleaner. I didn't put the adhesive all the way up to his eyes and stuff. There's a little bit of a face under all of that, but that's the body. I've got the wings over in another bin. And the arms. So we're going to let this sit completely overnight. We're going to come back and dust it off tomorrow. I have started work on the base. You can see the base, move this up out of the way. The base over here with the log. I got to do some dry brushing on that log, but it'll all, I think, come together tomorrow, and we'll get a better picture of how everything's going to look. Well, greetings, everybody. It's Thursday. It's the gateway to the weekend, and wouldn't you know, it's not raining today. The sun has finally come out, but I'm out of power. I was working away on the computer, and the power went out. So can't do much of anything until then. I was painting on the base. I was doing some mossing and some, aging on the wood. And let me talk to you about this base for a second. The Mothman is a cryptid. It is a mythical creature. It is based out of folklore in West Virginia, Point Pleasant, West Virginia. This tree looks very much like a cypress tree that you would see out of the Louisiana swamp. I don't understand why. I mean, the base has got lily pads on it. I'm not saying there aren't swamps in West Virginia. Lord knows I've been through enough of them. But I don't know why they made the base look like a big old cypress stump from Dagobah or the Louisiana swamp, and not, just a basic tree from West Virginia. But that's neither here nor there. I have got the body flocked. I was able to get that much done yesterday. Today I blew off the loose flocking. I reapplied some of the adhesive, and the flocking sticks to the adhesive fine. For some reason, the adhesive wasn't sticking to the styrene, and it was wiping off. And I can't quite understand what's causing that. I thought it was sterner stuff than that. The red flocking adhesive I've never had any problem with, but this black adhesive, which is, truth be told, is not black at all. It's got a black tint to it, but it's mostly clear with a little bit of black tint to it, which is why I had to back up and repaint or paint the body. I was expecting to just be able to put it over the styrene and go, but it basically wiped right off. There's no pigment in it. I don't understand it. So the black flock gives you your pigment, but it doesn't help when your adhesive is clear. So I've had to reapply some spots that were worn, like on the kneecaps and things like that, and that is drying. I'm happiest with the wings. It's kind of tough to see here. I was going to paint in some highlights. I'm dusting these. Of course, the inside is this red. It's beautiful. I've never had a problem. Didn't have a speck of problem with the red. It's only the black that was giving me some issue. And I kind of like how that's looking. It's looking a bit leathery, which is not inappropriate. So we were gonna put the wings on the body today, but really we can't do anything until the power comes back. I can't shower because my well is run by electricity. So I can't, I do have an order I can take to the post office, and that's about it. So maybe we'll do that early today and try to come back and hope the power is back on by the time we get here. So the power was off for about half an hour, 45 minutes. Not enough to really damage the day's work, but enough to give me a chance to just, take a little bit of a nap. Well, not a nap, but, rest my eyes, do some light reading, that type of thing. So here's where we are. Working on the stump some more. I want to spray a darker tint around the bottom, like it's sitting in water or sitting in a wet earth. I had plenty of opportunity to see what that looks like over the last few days when it's been raining so much that I noticed the bottoms of the trees were darker than where they've been, sitting in water. So we're going to do some of that. We're going to do some adding some detail to these lily pads. Again, lily pads, I don't quite get it. But hey, we're going to put the little lizard on the stump there. Let's get him cut off of the sprues. And I can chuck the last sprue away. And this guy sits here. And then, yes, I know he's supposed to blend in and all, but I think I might want to do something to make him stand out just a little bit. So we've got him. We've got our Mothman. Mothman's going to be sitting on the stump. I'm going to let him dry just a little bit longer before I blow off the excess on his belly there, on his legs that I redid this morning before the grand interruption. And then we will be able to attach the wings to him. Oh, that was something I did do. I put the the front arms. I put his arms, and then the minor set of wings I put on. Wanted to get those on and epoxied on before I did the final flocking, so that any joint work I needed to cover up I could do with the flocking. So now we set him down on the stump like such, and we try to fit him into the slot on the big stump, which again, not so great. Try to get him in amongst the cattails, and then put his other foot down in that hole. There we go. He's kind of attached now, and we can do things like, you know, get his major wings on. It's starting to look fun. Starting to look a little fun. Want to get him, get the feelers and the antennae and the mandibles on. And then we will be down to the last details. Get his proboscis in. Oh, that looks like fun. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Let's do that last bit. I still need to run a package out to the mail, but we can do that and come back and finish him up, I think. Now have the Mothman with eye glowing action. I've got him glued to the base. I'm going to take a little bit of the steel stick and do some sculpting around the feet to make them look like they are truly planted on the stump, as opposed to the light bonding there is now. It's not really sitting. There's some gap between the back of the foot there. I think I need to go ahead and sculpt that in while I can. And yeah, there's some glowing eye action there. That's quite nice. Now there's a lot of touch-up painting to do. I need to paint his antenna, feathers, whatever, and his mandibles, and then I can start doing some detail work on his hands and his face and his feet once all that gluing is done, set up, so that I can let me see, go ahead and put this. Actually, that patch on his back needs to go in after the wings have gone in. I've started to paint on the inside of the wings. I hope you didn't think I was going to leave it that red the whole time. The idea was I was going to darken that down. But we're starting to see how the wings will attach. I want to do a highlighting pass with maybe a German gray or something, just to give it a little bit of definition on the high spots. I'll go ahead and glue this one stump down, but the other stump has to come up so that I can hit the switch, which is underneath here. It's just a little battery box with a switch, and then pop that back in there and push it back down. We'll get the plants and the stump attached more permanently once I figure out how I'm going to finish painting that. I kind of like the fanciful color shifting base there. It's a fantasy character. I can get away with a certain amount of whimsy on the base, I think. And maybe I will spread just a little bit of clear epoxy on that to kind of level it up and make it smooth. I can do that. And yeah, that's I'm going to do a little bit of research to see what color I want to make the snout and the mandibles and his antenna. And we'll be ready to start doing the short row stuff. Once I get all that touch-up work done, the last thing I'm going to do is going to be to attach the major wings and that little back piece. So yeah, we're coming up on finishing. Hello there and welcome. It's Friday. It's the last work day of the week. The last work day on the Mothman. I am fairly confident we are finished today. There's only one big thing left to do, and that's to attach the wings. Now, I had been playing with doing the finishing bits of painting on the face and the mandibles and the hands, or working on the base, and it kind of overall, it came to me like all at once. It's like, you know what you're doing, Lou? What am I doing? It's like, you're making a blacklight poster. Really? I'm making a, yeah, well, you know, you've got black velvet here, or the flocking was looking like a blacklight poster from our youth. And those of us of a certain age all had blacklight posters up in our rooms as youngers. And it was a wonderfully nostalgic moment that I had. So I said, okay, I'm going to lean into this sucker. I'm going to lean into the blacklight posterness of it all. And I am going to use my favorite of all paints, which are the shimmer ones, the color shifting paints. I'm trying to think. They're not translucents. There's a name for it. They're color shifting. And I just went nuts, and I went to town on this base. Since we're in a fantasy element anyway, we've got a big winged Mothman. I decided to embrace the black lightedness by using all of these fluorescentish type of iridescent colors on the base and on the stump. I knew this was not going to be a realistic looking stump, so what the heck. So, and I gotta tell you, I really like this base a lot more now than I did when we were starting, because I found my way into it. And my way into it was to embrace the black light aspect of it. So here we have, the shimmering. You can call it, oh, I don't know, maybe it's an oil slick, maybe it's some supernatural ooze, who knows? But it is the ponding of the swamp around the stump here. And the last thing to do, now that I'm happy with this base and I've got it all down, now the base is not glued, the stump is not glued to the base, so that we can go in and redo turn off the light and put him back down. I see the light's off in his eyes now. The light's gone out, he's gone dim. So the last thing to do is to go ahead and glue the wings in and do some last minute touch-ups. But I think one thing I want to do before that happens, and it's going to be infinitely easier to do it before the wings go on, is I want to maybe take a little bit of the brown, just a deep brown like I used, which was, I believe it was the mahogany. It could have been the dark, it could have been one of these two browns. I think it may be this one, not the mahogany. Mahogany's a little bit redder. And I think I just want to do a little bit of highlighting just on the major areas here, just so you break up the black PJs look, so you get a little dimension in there. Not that he's not hard to see, he's lovely, but maybe just to put a little spot of color, a highlight, just on the wings, because I noticed that once you do this, you are kind of covering up a lot of what's going on behind it, and it does make it difficult. That was why I made the inside of the wings a different color, so that you would get some sort of contrast and still be able to see the body inside and around that. My only question now is whether I go brown or whether I go gray. I like the gray that's happening in the hands. It's more of the color scheme of the feet and hands. If I do just maybe he's more of a silverback moth than he is a brown moth. So yeah, let me just do a. Ooh, that's gonna be tough because it's an all or nothing type of thing. I can get a little bit of gray. Here he goes, Model Air gray, sea gray. It's an all or nothing thing. It's going to be, if it goes awry, I'll have to repaint over it with black. So we are kind of We're going to be careful about this. I'm just going to do a little bit of a highlight just down his ham hock there on his knee and his elbows and stuff, just to give a little bit of a contrast so that when the wings go on, you'll be able to see his body type. I'm mixing up some paint now. Okay, let's put the camera away and try it. I'm going to say put the camera away because if this goes horribly, horribly wrong, yeah, I don't want that to be on camera. That went very well. Again, a little is better than a lot in this instance. So you can see hopefully just a spot here and a spot on his shoulder there. His knees, head, shoulders, knees, and toes, I guess is the phrase. But just enough to break that line there. So you see a difference between that color and that color. And we'll move him around to this side so you can see what's going on. Again, just a strip down here to this knee, a little bit on his rib right in there, and over his upper arm there. That breaks up all of that black and gives you some dimension in between it, so it's just not one big mass of black, which is easy to get lost in. So now we've got, let's see, get this wing in place. Yeah, it goes in like that. And then we put that big clip in. See, there's nothing holding the clip, holding this piece in. It's the big clip that holds everything together. So I think, again, something best done off camera, because I think it might require rubber bands and clamps and things like that, or else just me holding it in place. But I need to smear some 5-minute epoxy on these posts. That's it. And it goes in here and kind of locks all of the wings in place. So that's the next thing to do. We are ready to put the wings on. And my question at this point is, am I going to be able to do this in such a way that I will not have to be acting as a human clamp and holding it all together? I'm using 5-minute epoxy because there is a flexibility with the timing that I am wanting. CA, obviously too quick setup. You don't get the chance to reposition anything if you need be. I just like using epoxy where I can. It's a more permanent bond, but you have more working time to get to that point. And right now, I don't think I've got any 1-minute epoxy to hand. That 1-minute epoxy also sets up kind of quickly. And here we are juggling parts that we cannot... what's the word I'm looking for? Parts that we cannot set in one place right away. We're kind of, see, everything's gonna go like that, and then we're gonna plug it together with this thing. So that's where I'm gonna put a little bit of back buttering here, and literally this is back buttering. Buttering a little bit on his back and a little bit on the inside here. And that's the other thing I like about epoxy, is its gap filling. If there is a void of some sort, the epoxy can fill that in. Now I am saving enough to slather around these posts, because that's the important part, really. Just a little bit around some of the posts. Okay, we're going to do this quickly. Neither one of these wings overlap each other, but they both kind of sit like that, up next to each other. And then we're going to put this guy in. So we're pushing it all in and squeezing it together. And son of a gun, if that didn't hold by itself. Let's see. No, I don't need to I don't think I need to clamp. I don't think I need to put any sort of clamp in there. I think he is, well, that's not exactly true. That's not exactly true. I could stand to keep some pressure on just this bit here, but I don't have a ready-made mechanical clamp to do that job. So what I'm going to have to do is act as the human clamp and just kind of hold that in place. Give a little counter pressure against his chest. Yeah, I'm just going to have to hold him like this just till it starts to set up. And now you can see the why I wanted to have some sort of gray painted on his body to help his silhouette pop out against the inside of the wings. This edge here is not looking so nice. That might need a little touch of paint. And that's just because of the top of the wing where I've handled it a lot. Okay. Well, this is about as much fun as watching glue dry, so I'm going to turn the camera off, and we'll come back to it when it's set up. I'm waiting for the resin, or for the 5-minute epoxy to set up, and a trick that I learned long ago, free to share it with you today, is that I always say, okay, well, how do I know if that epoxy is set up yet? You know, because it's, you know, you can't see it. But you go over there and look at the epoxy that you've mixed up. Is it set yet? Is it getting ready to come off? Is it, because this is the epoxy. Once this is hard, that epoxy's hard. So I can tell it's got a little bit of working time left to go before it completely sets up. So I can just keep the pressure on it like this. And you may have noticed I got some green color shifting going on here. This is kind of reminiscent of a housefly. Just the fly's wings, how it has that iridescent look to it. So, you know, moth, fly, insect, boogeyman, they're all kind of in the same family. He's got insect features like a moth, so why not? Just a little iridescent on the high spots on his shoulders. I was debating, but I think I thought better of it, of doing some white spots on his eyes, on his moth wings, like these two big red spots here. I thought maybe of putting a highlight on there, but the more I think of it, the less I like it. So I think we're happy just to let this sit by itself. Most of the times when this is being presented, this will be, you know, its back will be against the wall or in a corner or something like that. So not quite as noticeable as the front looking. Now, if this is at a show on a table or something, then you would see, of course, all sides of it, and it becomes more important at that point. But just for how it's going to be presented here at the house, I don't need to dress up the back just for that. I do think that there is an ample reason here to, let's see, do I have any more of that out? No, it's the green, and I gotta mix it up again. I love my little paint mixer. Just put a little bit of it out here, and just dab it over a couple of spots here where it's gotten kinda covered up. Just brushing it on some highlights here, not plastering it. Just enough to catch the light. Yeah, nice. There is a weak spot on the crest of his head. where it's a little thin here on the fur. So I'm just gonna touch it ever so slightly. Just right through here. Just kind of call that out. Just these ridges. Nice. Yeah, particularly from the front, that looks nice. I put a couple spots on his antenna. And I don't know about you, but I think we're finished. I think we are done. Do a quick light up on his eyes. And to do that, we pull it off of the base. We hit the switch. We push the battery pack back up into the stump. And there you go. And let's kill the overhead light. So you can really see the glow. I put a clear coat over the eyeballs this morning. The Tamiya clear that I always use on eyes and lips and such to give them a nice gloss. I'm wondering if I don't need to do another coat of that. Maybe even gloss up his proboscis, or his gloss this up a little bit on his snout, or what the analogy to his mouth would be. Yeah, just get a little bit under there. If I was going to go full gore, I'd do a like a little bit of drool coming down off of him, but I think that's just tacky. Just a little bit of gloss on these bits here. And like I said, his eyes, they are catching the natural highlight from having a gloss finish. But I think that is going to be the end of the tale of the Mothman. Let's do a little cleanup. Oh, come on. There you go. Yeah, that's that epoxy is good and set now. It is not going anywhere. There we go. Trying to get it as dark and moody in here as I can, and it helps that it's another one of those overcast days. But here we have just the red eyes glowing in the dark. Let me see if I can. There we go. There's our friend. There was one detail I forgot to take care of, and that is, let me go ahead and turn the lights back on. That is this little Charlie Brown pupa chrysalis that's hanging from a branch of a, I guess, the next generation of Mothman. But it needs to be hanging from the branch. I was surprised how much of the base is overshadowed by the wings, or is covered up by the wings. But there is your completed Mothman. And I'll put her. You can see the stripage on the back of the stump. And a little bit of the, and you might even need to see the highlight with the upper lights to get the iridescent look on the wings. You're not seeing that on camera as much as you are in real life here. But that's your friend and mine, the West Virginia Mothman. And that's it for another week. That is the Mothman. Na 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 Mothman. Here you go. I always like to hold it up in camera so you can get an idea how big it is. Quite a neat little kit. This was, it came out of nowhere. I mean, it's a Moebius kit that I don't know that there was all that much fuss about before it came out. In a perfect world, if there was a figure announcement from Moebius, I would hope it to be the Batgirl. But you know, you take what you get. So here we have the Mothman. It's a fun little kit. I like it. It's the subject is unusual enough that you can really go to town with your own interpretation on it. It's not from a movie, not from a TV show, not from well, it's from popular folklore. But I mean, there's no hard and fast rule saying how you must paint it. So it's a blank canvas, so to speak. And also, I enjoyed lighting up the eyes. Now, I know that making your own eyes out of resin isn't maybe something that the beginning modeler can, you know, do on a moment's notice. But it was a fun little way to stretch the kit into an area that maybe it wasn't designed to go into. Here are the, I still have the eyes. I made your eyes. Yeah. If only you could see what I've seen with your eyes. That line. Yeah, it would have been nice if Moebius had cast those eyes in clear and, you know, given you a clear sprue. But I can see why they didn't. I mean, if that's all you're ever going to do in the kit, you know, you'd have to make a separate tree for that, or get a multicolor injector like Bandai has, so that you can inject just that part of the sprue with the clear. I can see them not wanting to make a whole new tooling out of that. Although if they had wanted to, they probably could have done the major. They could have done the big wings and the eyes in clear. And I know you'd end up, 99% of the time you'd paint those wings anyway. But if you wanted to do like a housefly version where the wings are clear, you would have that option. Again, I'm not here to give Moebius ideas. I'm just, you know, spitballing in my own brain. But a fun kit, an unusual kit, a kit that you can, you know, easily do in a week. It's not going to take a career investment to do it. And like I say, it's a chance to get to some other colors that I don't use often enough, or if you want to experiment in flocking, this is a good experiment in flocking. So that is the Moebius Mothman kit. So until next week, when we'll probably be doing a bit of hardware. I don't know whether we will. I might even take that. I'm not going to tell you. But stay tuned for next week. Until then, y'all be good. Be good to each other. Be good to yourself. Be safe. You know, be smart as usual. Be good. Be good to your fellow man. And build a model. What the heck? And we'll be back next week.
Sorry about the bug eyes thing. I'll be in my office.